At the outset, I thank Professor Muhammad Atiq, Director UGC MMTTC of this reputed Saint Gadge Baba Amravati University. See, today all the universities and colleges are involved in the implementation of outcome-based education. When you talk about outcome-based education, it includes three important parts. The first one is curriculum design in OBE approach. The second one is outcome-based teaching learning strategies, that is pedagogy. Then outcome-based assessment strategies. In this session, I shall explain what is outcome-based education and also the curriculum design in outcome-based education. How do you draft the course learning outcomes? How do you map course learning outcomes with program learning outcomes? Then, what is course design? What are the various components of a good course design? Right? Are there any guidelines for writing the learning outcomes? All these aspects will be discussed in today's lecture. I have a few requests to you because this topic assumes great significance in the present scenario and it needs training. Implementation of outcome-based education needs training. It's not a general topic, it's a technical topic. Therefore, I request all of you to pay kind attention and note down questions, whatever you have. I shall provide with a question answer session at the end of the lecture. My second request is, if you have any questions, you can unmute yourselves and then ask questions. Otherwise, please keep your mics in the muted form so that any conversation at home will disturb others. So with this brief introduction, I shall proceed with the presentation of my lecture in the form of PPT. To begin with, let us try to understand what exactly we mean by outcome-based education as defined by W.G. Spaddy way back 1994. According to him, outcome-based education means we clearly focus and organize everything in educational system around what is essential for all the students to be able to do successfully at the end of significant learning experiences. In this definition, you can see 2 points, 2 important points. The first point is at the end of significant learning experiences by the students. Dear friends, how do the students gain significant learning experiences? If you give a lecture and leave the hall, will the students be able to gain significant learning experiences? No. You have to organize. You have to implement various activities to be done by the students inside the classroom and outside the classroom. Through problem solving, analysis of case studies, group discussions, mini projects for every course, question answer session after explaining a concept, nurturing questions in the classroom, providing discussion in every class at the end of, after completion of about 40 minutes, your time, give 20 minutes students' time. Only then you can organize activities to be carried out by the students in the classroom. You have to give lots of assignments, one assignment every week. Make them do mini projects associated with each of the lecture, with each of the courses. You have to implement continuous and comprehensive assessment, not occasionally conducting some tests and then it's continuous and comprehensive assessment as envisaged in the National Educational Policy. So, my dear friends, it is student engagement that is important, sir. Not giving the lecture. Student engagement is more important. Right. Now, at the end of significant learning experiences, students will be able to demonstrate their knowledge at various learning levels: apply level, analyze level, evaluate level, create level, as explained in the Bloom's taxonomy of learning levels. It's not remembering things, applying knowledge. That is more important. So that means we always start with a clear picture of what is important for students to be able to do, not what we know as the teachers, what is needed by the students by the time they graduate. What is important for the students by the time they graduate. You have to see the futuristic trends also. Because they graduate after 4 years, if it is an engineering program, 3 years arts and science program, general program, 4 years even in arts and science with research degree. All that. You have to see what are the advances that are important by the time they graduate. Accordingly, you have to do the curriculum design. And then curriculum design, instruction, and assessment, all the three, to ensure that learning ultimately happens. That is important, sir. It is the responsibility of the faculty to ensure that learning ultimately happens. Learning outcomes are achieved by the students. It is the responsibility of the faculty. Many faculty talk to me saying, our duty is to give lecture and leave the hall. It is for the students to read and learn and all that. But in OBE, it is the duty of the faculty member to ensure that the learning outcomes are achieved by suitably delivering instructional strategies and also implementing assessment strategies. Outcome-based education system is a totally new system in comparison to the traditional system. Totally new. To develop a clear set of essential learning outcomes and also establish conditions and opportunities within the educational system that enable and encourage all the students to achieve those essential learning outcomes. First, developing essential learning outcomes, and to see that You have good laboratory facilities, good library facilities, good classroom facilities, good learning spaces, all that. And then implement instructional strategies, assessment strategies to see that the students ultimately achieve the learning outcomes. That is outcome-based education. We are facilitators of learning. We have to see that student engagement to the extent necessary is done. That is important. What exactly are the learning outcomes, sir? We must have clarity about it. Outcomes are clear learning results that as teachers, we want the students to demonstrate at the end of significant learning experiences. Outcomes are what learners can actually do with what they have learned. They are the tangible applications of what has been learned. That means outcomes are actions and performances that reflect the student's competence in using the content, information, ideas, and tools successfully. That's what we understand by learning outcomes. Should have thorough clarity about learning outcomes. Only then you can prepare standard learning outcomes. The learning outcomes of a course reflect the standard of the course. Your standard of the course must be comparable with any other university in the country and with some of the best universities in the world. Only then you are improving the quality of education in the country. So when you design curriculum in outcome-based approach, all the universities and colleges in the world have accepted revised Bloom's taxonomy to formulate the levels of learning outcomes of any given course. Therefore, we must understand the revised Bloom's taxonomy of learning levels. I shall explain now revised Bloom's taxonomy of learning levels. Bloom has classified the learning levels into 6. Among them, the lowest level is remember level. Ability to understand, ability to remember without understanding anything. It is rote learning. Therefore, it is considered as the lowest level. It is given lowest rank in the order of learning levels. According to Bloom, there is a ranking order, ranking of the learning levels. The lowest one is remember. Next higher one is understand. Student will be able to understand the subject, will be able to give his own examples, will be able to explain in his own words. That is understand level. Next higher level is apply. The student will be able to apply the learned concepts to a new context, unknown context. That is apply level, higher than understand level. Then analyze level, next higher level is analyze level. The student will be able to break the information into parts and determine how the parts are related to each other and how the parts are related to the whole, to the overall structure. For example, analysis of case studies, analyzing and interpreting the data and drawing the conclusions. All that comes under analyze level. Then evaluate level. Next higher level than evaluate, analyze level. Student will be able to evaluate different designs, different models, procedures, software, algorithms, ideas, and make a judgment which one is superior to others. The student will also be able to evaluate a given product based on benchmarks or standards. Next higher level is create level, the highest of all the levels. The student will be able to synthesize new materials, new products, generate new ideas, create new models, new software, new designs of a product, etc. Create new poetry, new novels in a particular language. All that is at create level, which is the highest of all the levels. Bloom's classification of the levels of mastery of learning helps the teachers to plan different levels of mastery of the subject achieved by the students according to the teacher's expectations. Accordingly, the teacher can select the suitable instructional materials, pedagogy, and assessment strategies. It also helps the students as to what levels of mastery of learning they must achieve in a given course. Accordingly, they will also plan. They will put in necessary effort and time to achieve those learning outcomes. As these levels of mastery of the subject are related to thinking process, mental process, these are called cognitive levels. Please note this point, cognitive levels. Cognition means related to thinking process. Right? And there is a hierarchy among these learning levels. There is a ranking order among these learning levels. To start with lowest, remember lowest, next higher understand, next higher apply, next higher analyze, next higher evaluate, next higher, and the highest of all, create. It means if the student has achieved at create level, it is understood that he has achieved at all the lower levels of learning. If the student has achieved at apply level, it is understood that he has achieved at the two lower levels, understand level and remember level also. Remembering the definitions, understanding the concepts, all important. But once the student is able to apply, that means without understanding and without remembering, how can he apply? That means if he is able to apply, it is understood that he has already passed the remember level and understand level. If he is able to analyze and interpret the data, he has already crossed apply level, understand level, and remember level. That is the meaning of ranking order, hierarchy of these learning levels. One more point, sir. Remember, understand, and apply are considered to be more basic. Therefore, they are called lower order thinking skills, LOTS, whereas analyze, evaluate, and create are considered to be more complex in nature. Therefore, these are called higher order thinking skills, HOTS. What's HOTS? It is necessary that there should be one or two HOTS when you draft your course learning outcomes. Please note this point. It's not purely remember level and understand level, not acceptable. There should be apply level, analyze level also in all your course learning outcomes. So now I am explaining here for each cognitive level. Here, cognitive level is shown. Remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. At each cognitive level, I have given some examples of action verbs to be used in writing the learning outcomes. Always we use action verb. We start with action verb in writing the learning outcomes. These are only examples. For the complete list, you can go to Google and ask Google to give Bloom's taxonomy action verbs list. It will give complete list given by Bloom. These are only examples to make you understand that the action verbs are different for each cognitive level. So if you use appropriately action verbs, the students will be understanding exactly at what cognitive level you are referring to a particular learning outcome, course learning outcome. So remember, for example, that is the cognitive level. The examples of action verbs are define, state, list, name, identify, recognize, etc. Understand level, examples are explain, classify, describe, discuss, give examples, etc. Apply level, apply, interpret, solve, show, predict, employ, etc. Analyze level, analyze, calculate, compare, differentiate, interpret, etc. Evaluate level, evaluate, judge, conclude, assess, etc. Create level, create, design, develop, devise, synthesize, etc. Right? We have a clarity now, sir. For each cognitive level, the action verbs are different. So appropriately, when you decide the cognitive level, you have to use appropriate action verbs corresponding to that particular cognitive level. Please note this point. Now, formulating learning outcomes at various cognitive levels and guidelines. In order to help the faculty, I thought it is better to prepare some guidelines. If you understand these guidelines and follow these guidelines, you can write standard course learning outcomes without any error. Meaningful course learning outcomes. Anybody from some other university goes through your course learning outcomes, he or she should appreciate your course learning outcomes. These guidelines will be very, very helpful to all of you. I request you to pay kind attention to all these guidelines. Guideline 1. Write the learning outcomes in terms of what the learner, what the student does after undergoing a particular course or a unit of the course. This is called performance part. What is it called, sir? Performance part, which is important in all course learning outcomes. That is the first guideline. Second guideline, we always use a common stem before writing the learning outcomes of a course. We always write a common stem. What is that common stem? After completing this course successfully, the students should be able to, or the students will be able to, anything you can write. That is the common stem, sir. Then the third guideline, the learning outcome generally consists of three parts, namely performance part, condition part, and criterion part. I shall explain one by one. Performance part includes action verb and subject content. That's all, nothing else. And this performance part, action verb and subject content, important in all course learning outcomes. That is the very important point you should remember, you should not understand. Then what is condition part? The conditions under which the students will perform a particular action. That means using a resource, using a database, using a software, using an algorithm. You have to mention that. Otherwise, it is meaningless. Similarly, criterion part. How well the students have achieved a particular learning outcome in terms of quality. Is he able to develop an algorithm without any error? Is he able to complete the experiment to an accuracy of 99% or simply do the experiment? Once you mention accuracy of an action, that means it is criterion part. In all course outcomes, performance part must be there. But condition part and criterion part, wherever necessary to make the course outcome meaningful, wherever necessary to give complete meaning to the course outcome. I shall give the examples also. Right? Performance part is compulsory part. Condition part and criterion part are optional. Whenever necessary, you use. I shall show you examples, then you can understand better. Any questions, sir? Hello? Dr. Dhanasri, kindly mute your mic. Dr. Dhanasri, madam, kindly mute your mic. Dr. Dhanasri, madam, kindly mute your mic. You are not following my instruction, Dr. Dhanasri. Please mute your mic, Dr. Dhanasri. Please mute your mic. You are disturbing others. Okay. The learning outcome must be achievable by the students. What do I mean? It must be achievable by the students. By 80% of the students, it must be achievable. That is the meaning. It's not 10% students or 20% students. 80% students must be able to achieve. I request the organizers to mute Dr. Dhanasri's mic. Hello, Dr. Dhanasri. I have already given instruction in the beginning itself. This is the problem always. Fifth guideline, the learning outcome must be measurable. Choose a suitable action verb. Please do not use action verbs like remember, understand, know, acquire, appreciate, think, believe, realize, gain, etc., which are not measurable. Hello, madam, Dr. Dhanasri. Please mute your mic. Please mute your mic. I'm helpless.
आणि त्या स्कॉर्पिओवर 11 की 13 चलान आहेत असं स्पीड राहील
Hello, Dr. Dhanasri.
Dear participants, please mute the mic, please.
Please mute your mic. Please mute your mic, Dr. Dhanasri.
Somebody lost his life.
She is causing this lot of disturbance.
पब्लिक शॉर्ट में व्हिडिओ करतात मूवीज बघतात बाहेरची दुनिया बघते तेवढंच वेळ मिळतो आपल्याला झाडं कुठे काही हवा खाते तर वरती 10 मिनिटं उभी असते ना बस स्टॉपवर अरे 10 मिनिटं कधी कधी तर आता फक्त आपल्यासाठी हीच रिअल जिंदगी आहे इंटिग्रेटेड मध्ये सुखात राहिला 10वीपर्यंत.
Ma'am, please remove. Admin is requested to remove her.
Hello, sir. Dr. Dhanasri. Dr. Dhanasri is disturbing.
Ankit sir, could you please remove her?
Mic must be muted or she must be removed from the list of participants. Dr. Dhanasri. She is continuously talking. She is continuously talking. Please mute her mic or remove her from the participants.
Ankit sir, please remove her. I am not co-host, so I can't remove her.
ती साडी घातलेली ती बोलते अरे आज तर आई आज तर ते आले पॅड वॅड चेक करतो तिथे ड्रॉइंग काढली आहे त्याच्यावरती तुला काय बोलले नाही काही चेक करत नाही आज रेस्ट्रिक्शन होते मग काय बोलले अरे कोणतरी वेगळेच बाहेरचे आले बघितलं रॅन्डमली कोणातरी घेत होते पण जर माझं बघितलंच नाही त्याला तिची ड्रॉइंग आणि येड्याने काढली नाही ड्रॉइंगला काय नाहीये हा ही तरी करत काय ऐक ना आपण तो बघ केलेलं त्याचं नाव काय होतं लॅन्थेनॉइड मधला तो एकच रेडिओ ऍक्टिव्ह ते परमिथियम होतं ना माहिती आहे बघूया आपण परमिथियम का परमिथियम कट करून परमिथियम दिलं.
I have already requested the organizers to mute her mic. I have already talked to the organizers. So
Ankit
don't
sir,
use the action verbs
sorry, I
like
didn't remove her,
remember,
sir, please.
understand,
Ankit sir.
know,
Ankit
acquire,
sir, please remove.
appreciate,
Ankit sir.
think, believe.
Dhanashree madam. Dhanashree ma'am. Dhanashree madam. Dhanashree ma'am, I'm trying to call you. Dhanashree ma'am.
Fix the learning level first, then choose the suitable action verb for that particular learning level. Right? That is also very, very important. Don't use the action verbs like remember, understand. This is the common error. Know, acquire, appreciate, think, believe, realize, gain, etc., which are not measurable. Please don't use those action verbs. Start writing each learning outcome with an action verb of the performance part. Always. That is the 7th guideline. 8th guideline. Use only one action verb in general for each learning outcome based on the cognitive level. I have seen a common error in some of the course outcomes from the university's website. Some faculty write, the students will be able to understand apply, analyze, evaluate, and create like that. That is wrong. Corresponding to only one cognitive level, which you decide, corresponding to that, you can use the action verb. Sometimes the same cognitive level, analyze and interpret, that is acceptable because they refer to the same cognitive level, analyze and interpret the data to arrive at conclusions, new conclusions like that. Then, ninth guideline, the learning outcome must be easily understood by the students without any ambiguity. That is very important. Therefore, the teachers have to put themselves in the student's place and see whether the students can understand it without any confusion. Use the simplest possible language, whether it is in English or Hindi. 10th guideline, don't use complex sentences, simple sentences. 10th guideline, for each learning outcome, cognitive level, that is learning level, must be mentioned within the brackets so that the students will understand as to what cognitive level they have to achieve. 11th guideline, the course outcomes must be mostly at understand level and higher level. I'm considering all categories of subjects, sciences, engineering, social sciences, humanities, all. Not remember level. Remember level course outcomes are not acceptable because that is the lowest level and rote learning. No. Understand level and higher. Just because I have mentioned understand level and higher, it's not that all understand level. That is not acceptable. At least a few apply, analyze, evaluate, and create level must be there. Right? The number of course outcomes may be 5 or 6 for a 3 or 4 credit course. 5 or 6 for a 3 or 4 credit course. National Board of Accreditation mentioned it is 6 for a 3 or 4 credit course. I am considering all disciplines, therefore I have given a range 5 to 6. 4 course outcomes are not acceptable for 3 or 4 credit course. For a 2 credit course, yes, 3 or 4 course outcomes are okay for a 2 credit course because you have 2 credit courses also. These are the 12 guidelines. Once again, I must mention that performance part is essential, condition or criterion part wherever necessary. Any subject content discussed in the class and is remembered and recalled by the student, the cognitive level is remember only. The cognitive levels apply, analyze, evaluate, create always refer to unknown contexts, familiar but not discussed in the class and real-time problems. In the students' projects, mini or major, there is a large scope in the levels, higher cognitive levels such as create and evaluate. Therefore, I always advise, especially for engineering programs, you always provide a mini project as assessment, mini project, right? So that mini project, when you provide, then you will have the possibility of create level and evaluate level. Therefore, the cognitive level of each learning outcome has to be understood by the teacher. That is very important. While formulating the learning outcomes of any course, and must be mentioned, the cognitive level must be mentioned within the brackets against each course learning outcome. The students will then be able to understand clearly as to what cognitive level they have to reach in that learning outcome. So now, after explaining the guidelines, I am now giving a few examples. One example for each category because there may be diverse students. So one for engineering, one for science, one for social science, one for management, one for language, like that. So these examples will help you to write the course learning outcomes without any error. Course name, design and analysis of algorithms. Then subheading, course outcomes. First you write course name, then subheading, course outcomes. Then you write common stem. What is the common stem here, sir? After completion of this course, students should be able to, that is the common stem. After completion of this course, students should be able to, that is the common stem. After writing the common stem, then you write CO1, CO2, CO3, CO4, CO5. Now CO1, look at CO1. Demonstrate a familiarity. You see here, demonstrate a familiarity with major algorithms and data structures. Here, demonstrate is the action where a familiarity with major algorithms and data structures is the subject content. Action verb and subject content. What did we call performance part? So there is no condition part, no criterion part, because they are not necessary. Without them also, it is giving complete meaning. Therefore, performance part is sufficient in this course learning outcome. Then second one, apply action verb. Important algorithmic design paradigms and methods of analysis. Please look at the slide. Please look at all of you. Please look at the slide. Apply action verb. Important algorithmic design paradigms and methods of analysis. That is the subject content. Action verb and subject content. Again, here also only performance part. And what is the cognitive level? Apply. Then the third one, analyze is the action verb and the asymptotic performance of algorithms. That is the cognitive level. So again, performance part only. See the fourth one, write rigorous correctness proofs for algorithms. Write is the action where rigorous correctness proofs for algorithms is the subject content. Here also only performance part. Cognitive level, apply level. Now, fifth one you see, synthesize efficient algorithms without any error. You see, without any error. Suppose you remove without any error. Synthesize efficient algorithms. Right? Synthesize algorithms. Can it be with errors? Right? So the teacher does not want the student to write algorithms with error. So therefore, he has mentioned the quality parameter without any error. That is the criterion part. Then look at another one. In common engineering design situations, he has mentioned in common engineering design situations. This is the condition part. This is the context in which for which the algorithms are developed. Suppose you remove in common engineering design situations. Develop algorithms. For what? Therefore, it does not have any meaning. So to make it meaningful, you have to give the application. That is the condition part. In common engineering design situations, that algorithms have to be developed. That is how fifth CO consists of performance part, criterion part, and condition part, whereas the other four COs consist of only performance part. Now for science participants, if there are any here, analytical chemistry, I have chosen as an example. That is the course name, course outcomes, common stem. After completion of the course, students will be able to common stem. Apply the principles of data analysis to the results obtained by any analytical method. By any analytical method, again condition. The rest is performance. You have performance part and condition part. Apply basic concepts of volumetric and gravimetric analysis to chemical analysis of materials. Again, condition part. Select suitable spectroscopic technique and interpret the results obtained for analysis of any given material. Again, condition part. Interpret the results of thermal methods of analysis of any given material. Again, condition part. So, in all these cases, you have performance part and also condition part. There is no criterion part, right? So you have apply level, analyze level, and evaluate level. Very standard course. Then classical sociology theory is there. Then educational psychology. One example for social sciences. Course learning outcomes. You can also call course learning outcomes, UGC terminology. After completion of this course, students will be able to common STEM, analyze classroom process, including teacher effectiveness, school and organizational factors, cognitive level analyze, evaluate psychological models and methods of assessment in education, evaluate level, demonstrate a critical understanding of psychological interventions with pupils with additional support needs, including learning and behavioral difficulties, apply level, demonstrate a critical understanding of psychological theories involved in different learning contexts, example, behaviorism, social learning theory, etc., apply level. Explain how to measure and empirically research issues within educational psychology using appropriate research methods, understand level. So analyze level, even in social science courses, you can give course outcomes at analyze level, apply level, and evaluate level. Now, I shall give one example for management. There may be some participants from management. Course outcomes, subheading. After completion of this course, students will be able to common STEM. You can look at the slide simultaneously. Integrate management principles into management practices. Only performance part, apply level. Assess global situation, including opportunities and threats that will impact the management of any organization, analyze level, assess managerial practices and choices relative to ethical principles and standard, analyze level, specify how managerial tasks of planning, organizing, controlling can be impacting in a variety of circumstances, apply level, evaluate different approaches to addressing issues of diversity, evaluate level, evaluate the global context for taking managerial actions of planning, organizing, and controlling, evaluate level. Very standard course in management. You have 2 analyze level, 2 apply level, and 2 evaluate level. Very standard course. Then English for communication. At the end of the course, students will be able to common STEM, explain basic principles of grammar and vocabulary, understand level, write clear and coherent paragraphs, apply level, write effective resume, cover letter, and letters for a variety of purposes, apply level, prepare technical reports and interpret graphs, apply level, develop reading comprehension skills, apply level, develop English speech sound, stress and intonation, apply level. This is for English. And for any language, Hindi also, you can write course learning outcomes at apply level and analyze level. No doubt about it, right? It depends upon undergraduate program or postgraduate program. In postgraduate program in Hindi, you can write even evaluate level and create level also. Okay. Origin of outcome-based education in India. This is essentially based on Washington Accord. What is Washington Accord? This Washington Accord is an accord initially signed among 6 countries: Australia, Canada, Ireland, New Zealand, UK, and USA in the year 1989. 1989. 37 years ago. Its purpose is to mutually recognize and accept the qualifications and degrees accredited by the signatories of the accord, member countries of the accord. India has become a signatory of Washington Accord on June 13, 2014. 25 years later, after the initial agreement, 25 years later, India has become a signatory. Today, about 25 countries have signed the Washington Accord today. That means Indian degrees, qualifications are recognized by 24 other countries for the purpose of higher studies and employment. And India also recognizes the graduates from 24 other different countries for the purpose of higher studies and employment in India. Right? It's a great advantage. There is exchange of students from one country to the other country. Students meet diverse cultures. It's a good agreement. But the point is, the member countries follow outcome-based education, outcome-based accreditation of these programs. That is the condition. All the member countries must follow. We don't have a choice. Therefore, because India signed the agreement in 2014, India started implementing in 2014 with engineering programs. To start with engineering programs, National Board of Accreditation has started implementing in engineering programs. To start with, later pharmacy, management and architecture. And from 2019, UGC has asked all the universities to implement in arts, science, commerce, humanities, all other programs under the purview of UGC. The member countries, all the member countries must accept the graduate attributes. The graduate attributes. There is a lot of meaning in the graduate attributes which all the faculty must understand, the institutes must understand. Your colleges must understand, your principals and vice chancellors must understand. So what are the graduate attributes? What do we understand by graduate attributes, sir? In outcome-based education, the end result is graduate attributes, not the marks or grades. Marks or grades are only one part, a small part. But more important part is the graduate attributes. The graduate attributes means at the end of the 4-year degree program or 3-year degree program, whatever, they reflect the knowledge, skills, and attitudes. What are the three? Knowledge, skills, and attitudes essential for all graduate engineers of 21st century. First, they are defined with for engineering graduates. Then, UGC has come into picture in 2019 and formulated learning outcomes based curriculum framework in 2019. But universities started implementing only from the academic year 2021-22. Delhi University was the first to implement in 2021-22. Subsequently, from other universities slowly joined. But now, if you consider 2025-2026 academic year, all universities and all colleges in India, for all academic programs, outcome-based education is implemented, right? So graduate attributes in simplified form as given by UGC are disciplinary knowledge. I shall read only the subheadings. The PPT will be shared with you by the organizers. Right? I have already shared. Once again, I shall share again today. Right? Disciplinary knowledge, communication skills, critical thinking and problem solving, analytical reasoning. Please look at only disciplinary knowledge is related to your curriculum, to your courses, theory courses or lab courses or other courses, few courses related to field studies. Only disciplinary knowledge is covered. Look at the other graduate attributes: communication skills, critical thinking and problem solving, analytical reasoning, research related skills, collaboration and teamwork, information or digital literacy, multicultural competence, moral and ethical awareness reasoning, community engagement, leadership readiness qualities, self-learning and lifelong learning. All the other 11 graduate attributes, how the students can achieve? This is a very important question. Every institution, the principal and the faculty or the vice chancellor and the faculty must pose to themselves and come out with the answers. This is the key point in outcome-based education. Key point. The answer lies in not only curriculum design, but also in teaching learning strategies, assessment strategies, and overall learning experiences by the students inside the classroom and outside the classroom. For example, when you organize the seminars, let the students lead, take the leadership. The faculty can only guide. Community engagement related activities, let the students take the leadership role. Let the faculty guide. Any program organized in the institute, cultural fairs, tech fairs, let the students organize. Faculty can only guide. Let the students execute mini projects for as many courses as possible. The faculty can only guide, not direct them, can only guide. Right? There can be lot of assignments. Right? Wherever related, field studies, wherever related, wherever applicable, field studies. Laboratory courses must be taken very seriously because all the learning experiences involve these graduate attributes. Especially the project, I must say, project in the final year of study must be made compulsory, mandatory. In every college or university, there should not be any option. Because only when they do project, the students can achieve research-related skill. If it is a group project, collaboration and teamwork, self-learning and lifelong learning. If it is group consisting of diverse culture students, multicultural competence, critical thinking, problem solving, analytical reasoning, communication skills, all these can be achieved only by the execution of the project, sir. So while taking a rule, making a rule that project is compulsory in the final year with a good number of credits, at least a minimum of 6 credits, minimum 6 to 8 credits, right? Wherever possible, for example, most of the engineering courses, mini project may be made compulsory. management courses, pharmacy courses, architecture courses, science courses. Mini project may be made compulsory. Even in social sciences courses also, wherever possible, a mini project may be made compulsory with a weightage of 20%. Out of 100 marks, you can allot 20 marks to mini project. That will take care of many of the graduate attributes. This is very, very important, sir. Now, I am going to proceed to explain the outcome-based curriculum design in learning outcomes-based curriculum framework, LOCF, of UGC, first UGC. Because UGC is applicable to many programs. Engineering, pharmacy, architecture, and management. Other than these four programs, many programs are under the purview of UGC, including law, journalism, mass communication, fine arts. For all those, this framework is applicable other than medicine. Right? Vision and mission. When I say vision and mission, dear friends, it is related to the department. Vision and mission are related to the department, not the program. Then qualification descriptors, program learning outcomes, course learning outcomes. These three components are related to a given program. For each program, these three components are different. What are the three components, sir? Qualification descriptors, program learning outcomes, and course learning outcomes of so many courses. I have listed only three here, but if it is an undergraduate program of 4 years, there may be nearly 40, 47, 48 courses, nearly, approximately. Right? If it is a PG program, around 24 courses, approximately. Right? So for each course, you have 5 to 6 course learning outcomes. It includes all. Then something is hiding on the right side of the arrow, that is graduate attributes. The hidden part is graduate attributes. Very important. Based on the graduate attributes only, program learning outcomes are prepared in agreement with the graduate attributes only. This is the terminology you must use in developing the courses other than engineering, pharmacy, architecture, and management. This is the terminology you must use carefully. Now, what is the terminology for engineering, pharmacy, architecture, and management? This comes under the purview of NBA, National Board of Accreditation framework. In this case also, vision and mission, same thing, of the department. Vision and mission of the department, not of the program, not of the institute. Institute has its own vision and mission, but an institute may have 8 departments or 10 departments, whatever. So every department must have its own vision and mission. The department, all the faculty have to sit together, ponder over, brainstorm, deliberate over, and come to a very good vision and mission statement for the department, which is in line, of course, with the vision and mission of the institute. Then, program educational objectives. UGC terminology is qualification descriptors, but NBA terminology is program educational objectives. The meaning is same, but NBA called it program educational objectives. NBA called it program outcomes. UGC called program learning outcomes. NBA called it program outcomes. Course outcomes. UGC called it course learning outcomes, but NBA calls it course outcomes. So engineering, pharmacy, architecture and management must use this terminology given by NBA only. One more point, sir. Regarding program outcomes, NBA has already prepared 11 program outcomes in line with graduate attributes for UG engineering programs, UG BTech programs. For PG engineering programs, for MTech programs, NBA has prepared and given 10 program outcomes. You need not prepare. You can use them as it is. You can go to the NBA website. You can download the program outcomes for UG and PG for engineering programs. For management, for MBA, NBA has given 5 program outcomes. You can use them as it is, right? For other programs, pharmacy, you have to develop your own program outcomes in line with graduate attributes. So the terminology, engineering, pharmacy, architecture, and management, you must use this terminology. Whereas art, science, commerce, and humanities, law, journalism, mass comm, all those, you use UGC terminology, right? That is though essentially the meanings are same, but terminology, you have to use the appropriate terminology. Now, how to write? That is the most important part. I have given what to write in the structure. How to write? When you say vision and mission statements, vision is a futuristic statement of the department that the department would like to achieve over a period of time, 5 years from now, for example. That is a vision statement. Mission statements of the department are the means to achieve the vision. When the vision is the goal, mission statements are the journey to represent the journey to achieve the goal. Mission statement 1, how to write mission statements. It's not just to write something, no. There is some guideline. There is some methodology to write the mission statements. Mission statement 1 related to human resource development through teaching programs offered by the department. Mission statement 2 related to research, doctoral programs. Mission statement 3 related to extension programs, training programs, outreach programs, sponsored research projects, whatever is applicable to your institute. Some autonomous colleges may not have sponsored research projects. Only universities may have. Then you remove sponsored research projects if it is beyond your reach. Then you mention training programs, outreach programs, and extension programs. Yours is affiliated college. You are not offering any doctoral programs. Then you need not write MS2. You write MS1, MS3, and MS4. MS4 is collaboration with other national and international institutions, whatever is applicable to your institute. In the form of MOUs, let there be a committee, let there be a coordinator for the implementation of the memorandum of understanding between your institute and other institutions for mutual benefit, for exchange of faculty, for expert lectures, for facilities, using the facilities. You can have the collaboration with the research laboratories, national laboratories. You can have collaboration with industry in the form of MOUs. Your students can go to the industry for summer internship or winter internship or doing for projects like that. So a lot of benefit is there by collaboration and networking. That must be one mission statement for every college or university, right? This is how you write vision and mission statements. For example, I am reading out a vision and mission statement of Central University of Karnataka, for which I was the consultant. Vision, it is for the chemistry department, vision and mission. Vision to be one of the well-recognized departments of chemistry for higher learning in the India and the world in terms of producing skilled and employable chemists, researchers, teachers, and entrepreneurs who are go-getters in meeting the challenges of industry and society. Mission statements: 1. To impart quality education at postgraduate and doctoral levels with well-designed curriculum to meet the demands of academia, research labs, and industry. Mission Statement 2, to provide the state-of-art research facilities to carry out pioneering research in the cutting-edge areas of chemistry. Mission Statement 3, to become a hub for human resource development and sponsored research projects with funding from national and global agencies. MS4, to associate with national and international reputed institutions for academic excellence and collaborative research. Very well drafted vision and mission statements, but it is a big challenge for them to realize the vision and mission statements. Then you should also write program educational objectives, NBA terminology, or qualification descriptors, UGC LOCF terminology. What do they mean? They describe the academic standard for a specific qualification in terms of levels of disciplinary knowledge, skills, competencies, attitudes, and values that the holders of the qualification are expected to demonstrate by the end of their graduation, right? So then I'm skipping these things. Then you should have mapping table between qualification descriptors and mission statements. In all these mapping tables, 3 indicates, you see 3 in the boxes. This 3 indicates high mapping. There are many 3s here. And 2 indicates medium level mapping. And 1 indicates low level mapping. And if there is no mapping, put dash. Don't leave the box empty. Then program learning outcomes. They include subject-specific knowledge and skills, competencies, which the students of specific academic program should be able to demonstrate for the award of the degree. They also focus on knowledge skills that prepare the students for higher studies, employment, and citizenship. That is program learning outcomes, which I have already explained, which you must write in line with the graduate attributes. Then program-specific outcomes. If the curriculum of an academic program has a few specialized courses, advanced courses, then you may include 2 to 3 program-specific outcomes related to the knowledge and skills of those advanced courses only, right? Specific. Therefore, it is called program-specific outcomes. UGC, the NBA, has given for undergraduate program 11 program outcomes, but you can add 2 to 3 program specific outcomes by yourselves, by your department. Similarly, for PG, NBA has given engineering, for engineering, only 10 program outcomes. You can add 2 to 3 program specific outcomes for each specialization. Then this is example. Then there should be a second mapping table between program outcomes and program educational objectives in NBA terminology. Qualification descriptors, UGC terminology. This is the second mapping table. Here also 3 for high mapping, 2 for medium mapping, 1 for low mapping. Then course learning outcomes I have discussed in detail. Then course design. There are 6 components of course design. Generally, you write only course learning outcomes and syllabus, that's all. You finish there. No, there are 6 components of good course design. The first component is prerequisite knowledge or prerequisite course. That is the first thing. Second thing is course learning outcomes or course outcomes. Third thing is mapping of COs with 1 or more POs in the form POs and PSOs in the form of a table. Fourth one is detailed syllabus including references. Fifth one, teaching learning strategies in brief, only the names of the methods. Sixth one, assessment methods and weightages in brief. Tentative. This is the method, this is the weightage. Tentative. Right? So there are 6 components of good course design. Then I am going to explain to you the template. This is universal template for all the purposes. Name of the department, vision statement, mission statements, 3 to 4 numbers. The name of the academic program, qualification descriptors, UGC terminology, program educational objectives, NBA terminology. Then mapping table between PUOs and MS, 3 for high mapping, 2 for medium mapping, 1 for low mapping. Then program learning outcomes, then program specific outcomes 2 to 3. Then second mapping table between PLOs and PSOs and QD UGC terminology, PO NBA terminology. Second mapping table. Again 3 for high mapping, 2 for medium mapping, 1 for low mapping. Then course design, course code, title of the course, LTP. L stands for lecture hours, T tutorial hours, P practical hours or field work or community engagement. Then prerequisite course or knowledge, course learning outcomes 5 to 3, 6. Then mapping table between CLOs and PLOs and PSOs. This is very important, sir. While doing this mapping table, filling this mapping table, please consider not only your course learning outcomes, but also the active learning strategies you implement and also assessment strategies you implement. You consider those also when you fill this table. Then you can fill many boxes with a 3 or a 2. Ultimately, that helps you in a good calculation of attainment of POs and PSOs. Then detailed syllabus. Then teaching learning strategies in brief, 4 to 5 sentences. Assessment methods and weightages in brief, 4 to 5 sentences. When you draft the syllabus, it must be student-centered syllabus. All the faculty have to be discussed. You can organize a brainstorming session in the form of a seminar for a day or 2, right? To inviting the experts from IITs, NITs, other central universities, research laboratories, industries, wherever applicable, non-governmental organizations, whatever, the experts, and have deliberations for at least 2 days whenever you revise the curriculum. The current and future trends in the discipline must be taken into consideration, right? For the purpose of calculation of credits, 1 lecture hour per week, 1 credit, 1 tutorial hour per week, 1 credit, 2 hours of lab work or workshop practice or community engagement per week equivalent to 1 credit, right? Conclusion. If a teacher designs a standard outcome-based curriculum and implements the same by using appropriate pedagogy and assessment strategies, that teacher mentors generations of students to become innovators, entrepreneurs, experts in one's own profession, and above all, great teachers. Such teachers will be remembered by their students forever. Such teachers will attain meaning and fulfillment of their lives. I pay rich tributes to such great teachers. I wish that all of you become such great teachers in course of time or already. It's a continuous process. There is nothing like today I have become a great teacher. Nothing like it's learning is a continuous process. Development is a continuous process throughout our life, right? So I have my own YouTube channel in which there are 80 videos. About 50 videos are related to only higher education and relevant to all of you. I have given the list of all these videos, right? So I have given the list of all these videos and I have given the channel link also here. Whatever doubts you have in related to higher education, everything can be clarified when you watch these videos, right? Everything is covered in related to higher education, okay? So it is a kind of web series is there. My videos, 45 videos as a web series itself. This is the channel link. So now thank you very much. Question answer session. we have wasted more than 5 minutes time because one participant without muting the mic caused some disturbance, right? Forget about it. But now remaining time, so I have 7 minutes time now with me for question answer session because I don't want to encroach into my next speaker's time. Question answer session, please.
Thank you, Professor Apparao, sir. Thank you for such a wonderful session. Sir, one question is received through the YouTube. If you could permit, can we take that question, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, now in a days, we are moving towards the blended learning and the online education and the
Yeah.
era of SWAYAM and NPTL. We are drafting our curricula or our courses like as the framework provided by the outcome-based education. Can you suggest some kind of important tips while we are making some kind of scripting or the educational material while we are designing the educational material particularly for such kind of online courses, so which thing should be taken care for that so that our content should be innovative and more approachable to the students?
Yeah. Actually, you have to consider course learning outcomes. That is the first thing you have to consider. And then accordingly, you have to prepare the syllabus. Then when you consider the online course, it's a very important question, sir. When you are developing an online course and offering an online course, very important thing is, the best thing is you can use a learning management system. That is my sincere suggestion. Learning management system. For example, like Moodle. Moodle is one of the best learning management systems. Like that, the institution must make use of the learning management system. That is important, right? So in the learning management system, there are videos, lecture notes uploaded in one quadrant, available material to the student, to the participant. Then you also have assignments on a continuous basis. Assignments on a continuous basis. Okay. Every week one assignment. And you give a deadline within 3 days by 11:55 p.m. on a particular date, it must be submitted. Otherwise, they will be losing marks. So, assignments, regular assignments, not so after 1 month or 2 months. Every week for a particular course, there should be one assignment. Every week, the third quadrant is every week there should be self-assessment quiz, which carries some weightage. Self-assessment quiz, which includes the formative assessment, essentially the formative assessment. Okay, that's also important. Then periodical tests, besides assignments, periodical tests also must be given. Then it must also be associated with a mini project. Students must choose a mini project and continuously carry out, and then students should present in the form of a video the outcome of their mini project, the objectives, the methodology, deliverables, and results, discussion, conclusions, etc. in the form of video, and they have to submit in their submissions. That provision also is there in learning management system. Besides that, there is discussion forum, online discussion forum. Students, when they listen to your video lectures, they will have, and also your teaching notes, they will have questions. Those questions they will put in the online discussion forum, and any other student can answer. There can be several answers. Based on the answers, some more questions. So that online discussion forum will be very useful for clarifying the doubts and also for going very much depth into the subject. And it should be learner-centric MOOCs only. Learner-centric MOOCs only. Whenever you organize massive online open courses, it must be learner-centric only. Otherwise, it will be a failure and the students will not be able to achieve the required learning outcomes, right? So in fact, Swayam courses, many Swayam courses are quite successful because they also have the 4 quadrants. Every Swayam course has a 4 quadrants. First quadrant, video lectures. Second quadrant, learning material, teaching material, etc. Third quadrant, you have self-assessment tests, quizzes, etc. Fourth quadrant, online discussion forum. This is how only the online courses have to be constructed, have to be organized, sir. Otherwise, there will be failing. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Connecting to that particular question, sir, most of the time we are designing our curriculum and the scripting like as such, you have telling accordingly that. But our assessment and ultimately the that attainment calculation, while we are calculating our attainment of the learning outcome, it is not matched. So can you please suggest some kind of input so we can match our attainment calculation ultimately with our learning outcomes, sir?
Very important point question is, this is a very important question, sir. So I can advise you, all the participants, to go through my video on calculation of attainment of COs and POs. There is one video exclusively published for that purpose. Now briefly I shall answer. The first thing is, there I have given in detail how to calculate, the procedure, the methodology. Now I will briefly answer. That is, you have to modify your question paper. Your assignment questions, all questions must be mapped with one of the course outcomes. That is the first point, sir. So every question, it's not the traditional way of setting question paper. If you have 5 COs, first CO mapped with, first question mapped with CO1, second question mapped with CO2. First question may have 2 to 3 parts. All the parts must be mapped with CO1 only. If you want to give a choice, give a choice within the CO, within that particular CO, A, B, C or D, E, F. Like that you can give choice wherever you want to give the choice. Okay, that means either the students answer that question or this question, they must have achieved the learning outcome. Then second point is, put a threshold minimum. Threshold minimum for each question. So let us say threshold minimum is 40%. Suppose 80% of the students have achieved 40 marks, 40% of the marks for CO1. That means your attainment value for CO1 is 80%. That means 2.4 out of 3. Similarly, 90% of the students have achieved more than 40%, 40 or more percent or more for CO2. Your CO value, attainment value is 90%. That means 2.7 out of 3. Like that, you can calculate attainment values for each CO. That is the first step. Then you go to CO-PO table, matrix, CO-PO course articulation matrix table. There you can see each CO mapped with 3 or 2 or 1. Then you put there your CO attainment value and multiply by that mapping point, 3 or 2 or 1, calculate the weighted average for all the course outcomes. Suppose if you have 40 courses, 40 into 6 course learning outcomes, 240 course learning outcomes, attainment value you feed, calculate the weighted average for each PO, then you will get the attainment value of PO. That is the correct methodology to be followed. You must get CO attainment value better, 2.4 or above. PO attainment value also 2.4 or better. That means it reflects the standard of your program, right? For that, in order to do all that, sir, first thing is we have to modify our teaching learning strategies and our assessment strategies also. Traditional teaching learn lecturing method, traditional assessment, 2 to 3 tests and 1 end semester examination, no assignments, no mini projects, right? No term papers. So variety of assessments are absent. So traditional way, as long as lecturing method and assessment is done, you will not be able to achieve good course CO attainment value and good PO attainment value. So total reorientation of the faculty for implementation of OBE is needed to achieve in true spirit a good CO attainment value and a good PO attainment value, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, I think there are no more questions and we have moved for the next session. Our
Yes,
expert
sir.
has
Yes, sir.
already joined.
Yes,
So
sir.
if
Yeah.
you could permit, sir, shall we conclude?
Yeah, we shall conclude. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So on behalf of Malvi Mission Teacher Training Center, Sant Gadge Baba, Amravati University, Ramrao Adig Institute of Technology, D.Y. Patil, deemed to be University Nerul, Navi Mumbai, and all the learned participants, I extend my sincere thanks to Professor Apparao sir for such a wonderful session. Sir, during your session, you have elaborately extend this concept of curriculum designing with the minute points, and definitely, sir, it will be very useful for our futuristic perspective. I once again extend my sincere thanks to you for your thought-provoking session and precious time here. And I would also apologize for some disturbances, technical disturbances from the participant side. With this note, I once again extend my sincere thanks to you. And with the kind consent of Professor Apparao sir, I would like to declare that this particular session will be over here. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
We will move for the next session participants. Hello, Professor Basi ma'am.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon. If you could permit, shall we start, ma'am?
Please go ahead.
Yeah. So, friends, good afternoon once again. As we have already discussed that the today's session have been split it into the two different parts, and both are the interlinked part, because the outcome based education is one of the important part, but the ultimately the foremost component and the important pillar of this national education policy is the holistic and multidisciplinary education. So we are moving towards that particular session. First of all, before starting the session, I would like to extend my warmest welcome to our esteemed expert, Professor Faiza Abbasi, ma'am. Ma'am, warmly welcome you, ma'am. We have launched this program. We have launched this program in collaboration with one of our leading institution in the Maharashtra, that is the DEEM University, DEEM University, D.Y. Patil DEEM University, Ramrao Adig Institute of Technology situated in the Mumbai. And all the faculties near about from the engineering background, professional engineering background. Friends, Professor Abbasi ma'am, Professor Faiza Abbasi ma'am is a distinguished interdisciplinary scholar, academic administrator, and the higher education leader, currently serving as a program director at this Malviya Mission Teacher Training Center at Aligarh Muslim University, situated in the Uttar Pradesh, established under the Ministry of Education, Government of India. Over a period of 2.5 decades of engagement in this teaching, research, faculty development, and the academic leadership, she has made a significant contribution at the intersectional of wildlife ecology, environmental ethics, Quranic studies, gender studies, and higher education policy. Professor Basi ma'am has played a very pivotal role in the faculty capacity building and the academic leadership development. She has overseen and designed and execution of hundreds of orientation, refresher, faculty induction, and the skill development program, mentoring the thousands of higher education faculty members across the discipline. She has been closely associated with the national flagship initiatives such as the Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya Teacher Training Mission. Right now, it is a Malviya Mission Teacher Training Mission claim, and has received the advanced leadership training from the Ohio State University, Monash, and Monash University, Australia, and the IIM Udaipur. Alongside, she has also completed the ODL certification from the Harvard's ADX and the Writers Bureau, Manchester. Presently, she leads the large scale of this national education policy, that is the NEP orientation and sensitization program, contributing to systematic academic transformation. As a prolific author and the editor, Professor Abbasi ma'am has, to her credit, 16 books, 16 different books, numerous book chapters, and the extensive corpus of research articles in English as well as Urdu. Her publications her publications span wildlife ecology, sustainability, academic leadership, Islamic studies, women's studies, and higher education. Notable works include the academic leadership, that is the LEAP, neural harmony, Women's in AMU at 100, and edited volumes on the NEP 2020 and the Mission Life. She has served on the editorial board and the reviewer for the several peer-reviewed journals, and he is a consultant editor of the Aligarh Journal of Quranic Studies. Beyond this, Professor Abbasi ma'am is deeply engaged in the social outreach and the inclusive education. She is the program director of the English Access Micro Scholarship Program at AMU, and the founder of the community oriented initiative that includes Ibadat charities and the ASRA, Aligarh Self Reliance Alliance for the Women's. Her sustained university services include the membership of the major institutional committees, editorial responsibility for the AMU annual report, calendars, alumni engagement, and ceremonial responsibilities. Her contribution have not only recognized through the numerous honors, including including a Nishane Urdu Award by the Uttar Pradesh government, Indian Forest Best Paper Award, and being named among the 100 inspiring Muslim women of the Uttar Pradesh, rooted in a strong intellectual lineage tracing back to Professor Abbasi ma'am, has continued to exemplify a rare synthesis of significant rigor, humanistic scholarship, and the transformative academic leadership. So, friends, this is a brief introduction with regards to Professor Faiza ma'am. The today's session is very much important, and and because this is the foremost pillar or the component vertical of this national education policy. So I will request all the participants to kindly take the active participation in the session as well as the interaction. With this, ma'am, I once again extend my warm welcome to you. And now may I request you to please start with your session. Ma'am, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that introduction, and wonderful that I'm going to be here today with 83 participants as of now. And I'm sure this number is also going to grow. A lot more will be joining, and looks like this is a very vibrant group also. So participants, tell me first, can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. And I know the Sant Gadge Baba Amravati University UGC MMTTC has collaborated with which college is this? Can somebody please tell me?
It's Ramravadik Institute of Technology at D.Y. Patil deemed to be University, Navi Mumbai.
Wonderful. So it's an institute of technology. And would you prefer, what language of instruction do you prefer, ma'am? Shall I speak in English? Thank you. Sorry, shall I speak in English, or you would like a little bit of bilingual?
English will be fine, ma'am.
Okay, very well. So as you can see, we are going to talk about multidisciplinary education and research. A topic that is actually the first theme of the NEP orientation sensitization program. You know, friends, NEP has a very, very transformative effect on education, on higher education, especially on education management, on academic leadership, etc. One of the major changes that we are going to find after the introduction and implementation and execution of NEP is this, that education will be more multidisciplinary, it will be more holistic, and this will be done through the curriculum. So not that we didn't, we were against multidisciplinarity, or we were not in favor of the all-round development of the student personalities, that we were not focusing on, you know, holistic growth of the student, integrated growth of the body, mind, intellect, soul, creative, social, all abilities. It's not that. It's just that with NEP, now this will happen through the curriculum. The thing is this, it will happen through the curriculum. So far also we had a lot of co-curricular and other activities in the college, in the institutions, but with multidisciplinary and holistic education and its introduction, we are going to find this new beginning of making education holistic and multidisciplinary through the curriculum. That is one major change that we will observe. So friends, first we will build some background on why a migration from single discipline is important now in the 21st century. Why the 21st century is one age and time when disciplinarity is being overseeded by multidisciplinarity. Okay? Why? So the fact happens to be that today new knowledge exists at the intersection of two disciplines. You know, as teachers, as researchers, what is our job? Our job is to create new knowledge. Our job is to innovate. It is to do something new and to contribute to the growth of the civilization. But then this new knowledge creation should not be limited to research. It should also make our teaching innovative. It should also make the classroom a hub for innovation. Because see, innovation is happening everywhere. Innovation is happening at a cycle repair shop also. But this is not the kind of innovation that hangs together. That hangs together in a system that maintains continuity. Okay. So today, as teachers, we are all threatened by ICT, by social media, by artificial intelligence, data science, learning, and by even robots. There are private school classrooms where what children are learning in class is being taught by robots who look like the inventors of that knowledge. Say, for example, all physics teachers have been teaching the theory of relativity, E is equal to mc square. But now the robots who come to teach in class, they look like Einstein. And they don't forget anything. They have all the knowledge fed into them. So when they are teaching the theory of relativity, they can replace any teacher. The only thing that a teacher can do, which is irreplaceable by a robot, is his own research and innovation, his own creative thinking, her own imagination and critical thinking and analysis, and then create new knowledge. So this new knowledge will exist only at the intersection of two disciplines. Now, if you want to innovate, if you want to create any new knowledge, it is not happening inside your discipline. It is not happening inside your super specialization. It is happening where your discipline, a part of it, merges with the other. Any other discipline it could be. And for you, the creation of this new knowledge is important because we cannot continue with the epistemic rent seeking that we have been doing. It's time. It's high time now that we stop doing this in the classroom, that we only transfer borrowed knowledge in the classroom. High time we stop doing that. Enough is enough. If we are just reading what Einstein said and teaching what he innovated in the class, now is the time that we are not needed. Because a robot who looks just like Einstein will be doing this much better than us. I will be needed when I have done my own research on the existing knowledge and I am there to talk about it in the class like no one else. Teach something in the class that no one else can teach. So that's the importance of new knowledge. But this is not happening unless and until we find an intersection between two disciplines. Okay? Clear, everyone? Okay, moving ahead. The core purpose of research. What is the core purpose of research? Solving problems. Isn't it? Creating new knowledge. Now, if you have to solve problems, you are solving problems only when you are approaching the problem with more than two disciplines. A solution has to be arrived at for any real life problem. It has to be approached with more than two disciplines. Any solution. Solutions are not found within the discipline. So I will give you a wake up example. Nobody is answering me, so looks like everyone is sleeping. So we all know Zohran Mamdani. Have you all heard of him?
Yes.
I'm sure. We know of him as somebody who has been able to achieve great success, as somebody, we also feel very proud of him. His mother is Indian, his father is Indian origin. He's very, very phenomenal. Now, I'm going to present him here as a very fine example of multidisciplinarity and of holistic education and holistic growth. Because if you can trace his transition, then you will find a transition that has happened from technology to humanities. He's always been a person of diverse talents, and that has made him a polymath character for many fields. And this is what reflects a truly multidisciplinary approach. We can see in him a versatility that promotes a holistic academic achievement. Because so far the world has told us to specialize. But the example of Mamdani, it shows us that today we are at the offset of a revolution, and that revolution is fluidity. Because in him we see he came from poetry to policy, he came from films to housing justice, and he's a living proof that creativity is not separate from change making. Actually, creativity is the engine behind change making. So the idea of the polymath, we've all heard that Leonardo da Vinci was a polymath. He knew poetry, he knew painting, he gave the design of the first aeroplane, the first machine that could fly, kind of. There are many other examples of polymath characters, but they have all been there in history books. With the post-Renaissance, with the advent of the modern technological, scientific, democratic, progressive education, we don't see any examples of polymath characters. Can you name some polymath characters from human history? Anyone? I just said Leonardo da Vinci, of course, because he was in engineering, he was in anatomy, architecture, physics, botany. Very archetypal of a polymath. We also know of a towering intellectual of the Islamic Golden Age. His name was Ibn Sina, and in English he is known as Avicenna. He was an expert in medicine, Unani medicine, in philosophy, in astronomy, as well as in theology. And he wrote a book. He wrote a book called The Canon of Medicine. And till date, this book is treated as the basic book of medical science students in many countries. Coming to our very own country, India, we have the glorious example of Rabindranath Tagore, Gurudev, the founder of Vishwa Bharati University in Shantiniketan. We know him for the Rabindra Sangeet. He was great with music. We know him for literature. His book of poetry named Geetanjali. This book was given the, he was the first non-European in the world to get a Nobel in literature. He was an institution builder. He made the Vishwa Bharati University. And he was also a painter. Polymath of a character. And by the university that he built, he also became a social reformer for Bengal. So equivalent to him, because I'm talking to you here today from Aligarh, I can very well give you the example of Sir Syed. He wrote about history, he wrote about literature, he wrote about mathematics. He was also an institution builder, and he wrote about archaeology, quite a polymath and a polyglot. And yes, theology. Sir Syed also wrote a lot about theology. So many other characters, Benjamin Franklin in science, politics, diplomacy, writing, invention. But of late, in the 21st century, we are seeing that the polymath is resurfacing. It's resurfacing in a generation that is connecting disciplines instead of staying in one lane. And what is the salient feature of this generation? This is a generation that sees overlap as strength and doesn't treat knowledge as a territory to defend. It treats knowledge as a terrain to explore. So his story reminds us that the polymath's real test isn't knowledge, but it's selfhood. And to thrive is to have the audacity to be all of who you are, everywhere you are. Because doing it all isn't the goal. Doing it with purpose is the goal. So the living polymath dream, inspiration that you can do it all and you can mean it all. Right? Now, in academics, all right, before I proceed with this particular slide, tell me one thing, friends. You are all teaching in a college. You all have some experience. You have been a part of higher education system the day you took admission in your undergraduate course. It could have been BTech, it could have been BSc, it could have been any other undergrad course. Since then, you have started experiencing higher education, teaching, learning. And it is very natural for us as teachers to keep referring back to our days as students. We always do that. Okay. I want to ask you, in higher education, what are the present day contemporary challenges that you would be facing. Any challenges, any new challenges you are facing? Any problems with funding, any problems with college management, infrastructure, human resource, any problems? Can you give me an answer, friends? Are you facing any issues? Yes, participants? Lot of high-tech teachers present here. Any answers, my dear friends? Any challenges that you may be facing in your teaching, learning, career, in your profession, any changes that you have observed? Anyone? Would you come up with your opinion? This is not a knowledge-based question. I'm just taking your opinion based on your experience. Okay, so I guess everybody's having a good time. No problems are being faced. Friends, today higher education is facing some serious challenges. And these are the challenges of funding. These are the challenges of structure. These are the challenges of infrastructure as well as human resources. Because somewhere down the line, there was an industry academia disconnect. The divide was so deep that it became a disconnect. So the political economy of higher education has changed. The political economy of higher education is changing and funding is not smooth anymore. This is the neoliberal context. And in this context, it has been found that disciplinary structures in universities tend to impede intellectual innovation and also obscure public access to knowledge. What knowledge we are creating is so highly jargonized. There is so much of jargon in it that this knowledge is not able to percolate down to the public and give them a sense of enlightenment, which is the core purpose of education. So it has been found that disciplines are necessary evils. The more necessary, the more evil. Disciplines are necessary evils. The more necessary, the more evil. Right? So with this realization, we move forward to the various levels of interfaces when it comes to the interactions of disciplines. I hope you have heard these terms many times. And my experience is that mostly these terms are used interchangeably. But these are specific terms, and there are very minute differences. And because of which sometimes we make the mistake of not being exact. So these are the terms that we need to understand. So can somebody tell me? Have you heard these terms? What could be the meaning of these terms?
Yeah, we have heard it. There are minor differences between all these. Look like a same, but minor differences.
Yes, madam, go ahead.
See, interdisciplinary is between internal disciplines, whereas interdisciplinary, when there are 2-3 different disciplines are there, when you are taking a group of that and doing some activity, it is interdisciplinary. These are the very common words we are using. Then multidisciplinary. So if the disciplines are very different and then you are combining and doing some work, so it might go into the multidisciplinary. Likewise, that the difference. Is it correct, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, you're very close. Please go ahead. Thank you for that explanation, ma'am. Would anyone else like to try, please?
Ma'am, transdisciplinary might be we are adopting the concept or maybe some kind of frameworks from one discipline to another discipline.
Yes, yes, very close. Thank you. Go ahead. Okay, so I really want to thank the two participants who have come up with their understanding, and thank you very much. Very close. Let us try to understand these 5 stages of non-disciplinarity in this diagram. Can you see the schematic representation with the help of these Venn diagrams, you can easily understand. Please have a look. And now I will request that one of you please take a chance and explain this. Can anyone try to understand these diagrams and please make an attempt at explaining them?
Transdisciplinary knowledge from multiple disciplines is used to solve some common goal.
Yes, yes, correct, correct. Any other? Would you like to attempt any other concepts also?
Madam, diagrams are so clear that one can explain this.
Yes, indeed, sir. The diagrams are very clear. That is why I was requesting one of you to try to explore the concept behind and then enlighten us with these diagrams. And if you can give some examples, it will be really great if you can give some examples.
Yes, ma'am. May I?
Yes,
Hello.
ma'am, please go ahead. Introduce
Yes.
yourself first. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Shraddha Kaje, joining from Mumbai, Navi Mumbai. So my core area is design, communication design. So I can explain in that way. So disciplinary area means a core area of your subject, where the subject are very specific or the area is very specific. Cross-disciplinary means might be weaving your subject area into the other perspective, like mine might be design and the technology, or design and the engineering might be a cross-disciplinary. Multidisciplinary, here I can understood that combining different disciplines in getting a one goal. Like if we consider design as a core, then applying engineering as a technology to attain a one goal of a product development might be. So this might be a multidisciplinary approach. Then interdisciplinary might be two disciplines work together, or in one discipline we can say. Then
Very good.
interdisciplinary, yeah.
Please go ahead.
And ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, please
Uh,
go ahead. You're
yes, yes, yes.
very good.
And the transdisciplinary might be beyond the discipline perspective, like something beyond the discipline. Like if the discipline is completely a engineering, so there is a combination of a psychology as a subject, or might be a art as a subject likewise. This is my understanding about it.
I'm so glad you took this attempt. 3 claps for you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
That was wonderful. With examples, you have given us an account of these interfaces between disciplines. Thank you. So everyone is from engineering here, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I didn't get an answer to my question when I was asking you if you're facing any challenges in higher education, or you're just happily doing your job. Will you now be able to tell? Now the group has warmed up a little. Will you now be able to tell, so that I also learn, get some perspective from my colleagues across the country? New age higher education teaching and management, what are the challenges? Are there any challenges? Funding, infrastructure, human resource, policy, any limitations, any changes that you're feeling from how you were teaching, you were being taught, and now how you are being told to teach?
Hello, may I, ma'am?
Yes, please, most welcome. Go ahead.
Myself, Dr. Tushar Gorpade from RIIT, Ramrao Adik Institute of Technology, Navi Mumbai.
Please go ahead. So nice to know of you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. The main challenge is that our policy, like even though our syllabus is designed, it's like as a national education policy, which will be the outcome based, but still we are struggling with the policies for the higher studies. Means when we do some research work, no, our research work is need to be converted into outcome based. That to be like someone can be use that research works, or someone can be utilize that research work. But such policies are not, I can say, defined very well in I can say our higher education ministry. That is the big challenge which we faced generally. That is the main challenge behind that. Means like now everywhere so many persons have completed their PhD works and all, but that work is has to be converted into in terms of societal impact, or it has to be converted into a some funding processes. But that cycle is not going to be complete because of the policies are not well defined. Everyone is like running behind the only research articles to publish the research articles, research papers and all. But actual, which I want to say that no conversion is still, we are very much lagging other lagging, which are the developed countries. That is the big challenge for the research work.
You have said what I very closely feel. Thank you very much for that answer. Actually, this is one of the major issues that NEP has found in higher education. And this is one major issue that NEP is addressing in order to improve higher education on the quotient of societal embeddedness. As you said, sir, that PhDs are being completed, papers are being published. For individual scientists, there may be academic achievements, but society is not benefiting from this research because this research is not contributing to macroeconomy. It is not being converted into innovation. It is not being absorbed by the industry. You know why? Why? Because this research is not happening at the intersection of two disciplines. And when there are intersections between disciplines, Then we have new knowledge that we get because of cross-disciplinary perspectives, because of interdisciplinary integrations that might also result in the emergence of a new discipline, because of multidisciplinary teams, projects, and programs where all experts come to a table, bringing their expertise and then go back. And there is no integration of disciplines and no emergence of new discipline, but a problem is being solved. And of course, transdisciplinary, when disciplinarians can shake hands, or let me say, they can go hand in hand with what? They can go hand in hand with other intellectual frameworks. It could be policy, it could be civil service, civil society, it could be industry. That's when research will be optimized to its true and actual potential, right? So these are concepts that we really need to understand. We need to bring them. And for this, the national education policy is very serious. The policy says that we envisage a holistic and multidisciplinary education that develops the whole person, including their intellectual, aesthetic, social, physical, emotional, interpersonal, humanistic, as well as moral capacities. And this will be achieved through a curriculum that integrates different subjects and disciplines, promotes practical learning, and also emphasizes value-based education. So after clearing some concepts, I would like to show you what your syllabus happens to be as part of this theme on holistic and multidisciplinary education. You know, your course has 10 different themes. You have curriculum development, you have leadership in academia, governance and management, Indian knowledge systems. A lot of other teachers that Professor Atiq has managed would be taking these sessions with you. One of the important themes is holistic and multidisciplinary education. So this is a part of what we all need to know. This is a part of what we all now onwards need to inculcate in the curriculum, need to integrate the curriculum with this. And this is how higher education is now going to achieve the goals of holistic and multidisciplinary education. Now, can I request some of the participants to read out these this course content in all the themes? Can somebody please read? Any of the ladies good at recitation and reading? Anyone? Holistic and multidisciplinary education, what does it say? सब थीम फन में क्या क्या है? So friends, as part of these 3 sub-themes, we need to understand what holistic development, growth, and multidisciplinary education means as per the scriptures of India, say for example, Bhagavad Gita and other scripts, and how holistic living can be achieved by India-centric living and the development of the individual could be an integrated development of the body, mind, intellect, and soul, for which physical and mental health is also necessary. Now, in order to understand this, we need to look back a little, because in our history, in our culture, we have the Guru Shishya Parampara and the Gurukul approach of teaching learning, and also the ancient educational institutions of holistic learning, like the Takshashila, Nalanda, and Vikramshila, where there used to be a teacher-pupil rapport, where there were exercises of man-making and character building. And educational thinkers, reformers, institution builders, like Swami Vivekananda, Sri Aurobindo, we have just discussed Rabindranath Tagore and how he was a polymath of a character, and the great Madan Mohan Malviya. We've also just discussed Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. Being a woman, I would like to add Savitribai Phule in this. Would you like to add any name in this list from your state, your region, any great educational thinker, educational philosopher, who was an institution builder in himself? Participants, would you like to suggest? Say, for example, when I ask a group of teachers coming from Haryana, the women always propose the name of Bhagat Phool Singh, who established the BPS Mahila Vishwavidyalaya in Kanpur, Sonipat, Kanpur Kala, Sonipat. So could you add any names to this list from Maharashtra, Saurashtra, your region, Vidarbha, Marathwada, any place? Savitribai Phule, of course, we already have her shining, fine example. Any suggestions from any one of you? Any new names that we can add to this list? You can write in the comment box also, and throughout this lecture, if there is any new name, you can let me know. So the second sub-theme will be what I've been talking to you about right since the beginning. Curriculum has to be integrated and has to be modified for holistic learning and for multidisciplinary education. For that, we have already seen the different interfaces, cross, interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, etc., the art of critical thinking, and how flexible and innovative curriculum by the dual degree system, by the academic bank of credit, by the multiple exit, multiple entry, by the credit-based courses and projects from various disciplines, we can create teacher education universities. Last sub-theme is a little extensive. It's about human values, ethics, personality development, and environmental education, considering that a healthy mind can live only in a healthy body, and a healthy body can live only in a healthy environment. So we begin with the meaning and concept of values, the classification of values, value education, and its significance in the present world, value system. Like values like Purushartha, Dharma, Artha, Moksha, Kam. Truth, commitment, honesty, integrity, forgiveness and love, emotions, empathy, and the ability to sacrifice. Life skills, rational thought, courage and resilience, simplicity, tolerance, care, unity, inclusiveness, interconnectedness that comes from the concept of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which means the whole world is one family. Social values, duties and responsibilities, peace and non-violence, scientific temper, and the qualities of a good citizen. These are human values. These are the ethics, which are necessary for a complete development of a personality. Character and conduct, morality, instinct and conscience, moral standards, absolute and relative ethics, nationality, patriotism, love to motherland and mother languages, self-analysis. That means, out of the box thinking, attitude, motivation, goal setting, short-term and long-term goal setting, time management. These are important for our personality development. And last but not the least is something that comes from my subject in the light of so much of climate change, in the light of so much of global warming, environment and ecological balance, interdependence of all beings, living and non-living, respect for nature, environmental conservation and enrichment, aesthetic sense, climate change, pollution, waste management, sanitation, biological diversity, conservation, biological resource and biodiversity management, forest and wildlife conservation, and sustainable development and living. So much will go into the development of a student for its holistic learning, multidisciplinary growth, and education. Right. Now, there are educational theorists who have been against this view of multidisciplinarity. We should always do critical thinking, and we should know what are the opinions of those who criticize us. So here I want to touch upon little at the world scenario. It has been found that holistic education is an eclectic and inclusive movement. It emerged in the mid-1980s. So eclectic it was being found, but this is a little deviation from the main from the mainstream education. However, all said and done, this is a road not taken. First time we are integrating it with the curriculum, and we are doing it with some hopes of success, with something that is new, of course, which is a deviation from the mainstream, but worth doing. So do you have any interest in poetry, friends? You're all tech savvy, tech professionals, but have you had any interest in poetry? Hmm? So this is a poem that is from a great English poet, Robert Frost. You would have already heard of his poetry. A very famous lines: "The woods are lovely, dark and deep. Could anyone read the poem?
Faiza ma'am, you have muted yourself. Can you please unmute and
I'll get back. Just give me a moment.
Hello, Faiza ma'am? Are you able to hear us? Hello?
Yes, am I audible?
Yeah, now you're audible, ma'am. Please continue.
Okay. Sorry.
Thank you so much.
I think I was muted.
Yeah.
Right. So, based on this understanding that education should be multidisciplinary and learning should be integrated and holistic, already some special programs in some important schools of learning have been launched in high ranking universities. As a participant and coordinator of the very prestigious LEAP program, I once went to the Ohio State University. And I saw in the university that they have this medical school which is called the Wiener Medical School. They are offering integrated health training programs in that school. There is clerkship for other students when they can come to the medical school, and then there are advanced competency integrative health programs that are offered to fourth year medical students. So considering the fact that patient care is indeed very integrative, it has been found that this is a very useful approach. This is a useful approach in terms of integrated patient care. And this is a very good example of multidisciplinary education. And that's exactly what by offering multiple exit and multiple entry, that's exactly what we are also looking forward to doing. So that's one. Another is this important project that I saw at the Monash University, which is also one of the top 100 universities of the world. It's in Melbourne, in Australia. And here I came across a healthcare project, research project that was looking into cultural sensitivity. And it was delivered by a unified team of professionals who worked in tandem on the impact on patient health outcomes. These are the results of what they found there. Open-minded, collaborative, interesting, friendly, enriching, amazing, insightful, explorative, important, etc., etc. Wonderful. So now, friends, before we see what we are going to now do, what different changes that we are going to bring in our higher education, various aspects of higher education execution. There is assessment and evaluation, there is skill development, there is medical education, there is research and development. In all these aspects, we are favoring multidisciplinary approaches, favoring multidisciplinary education. I would like to give you an example from history, which serves to be a very good example of multidisciplinary collaboration between two great scientists from very diverse disciplines. One discipline being genetics and the other discipline being mathematics. And this is the example of how the Hardy-Weinberg law came into being, how this law came into being. The Hardy-Weinberg law. Okay. So, who was Hardy? Anyone? You're all from engineering. You would have all had a close brush with mathematics. Any idea? Hardy. Have you heard of him? Have you heard of Ramanujan? S. Ramanujan? Anyone? Who was S. Ramanujan? A great what? The great mathematician S. Ramanujan. And what was the very important role that Hardy played in the life of S. Ramanujan, the mathematical prodigy that we all know of as somebody India has been really proud of? बताएंगे आप? Ramanujan wouldn't have been known to the world if it was not for Hardy. Hardy was a Cambridge mathematician around the time of the World War. He himself was a genius, but he's better known for his partnerships. Partnerships that he did with Hardy, partnerships that he did with Littlewood, partnerships that he did with people. So we know of Hardy and Ramanujan, we know of Hardy and Littlewood, and here we have come across a great example of multidisciplinary collaboration between Godfrey Harold Hardy and Wilhelm Weinberg. A fine example of the fact that real life problems need multidisciplinary solutions. That disciplines alone may hinder innovation and knowledge. Because this is a law that emerged from a cricket club talk. And this shows that solutions often lie beyond disciplinary silos. This is the law. I know nobody's from botany here, nobody's from genetics here, but if you delve a little deep, you will find that this is one law that is being now taught as textbook knowledge. It has now become textbook knowledge for all geneticists and for all botanists. It is being taught. How did it come into being? It came into being when Hardy was playing cricket in the Cambridge cricket ground with his friend from the genetics department, Wilhelm Weinberg. Weinberg was a little upset. Hardy could make it out. And when he found the reason behind his mood, he was told by Weinberg that some papers coming from the United States based on experiments of plant breeding in the laboratory are trying to prove that the great father of genetics, Gregor John Mendel, whom we revere, These papers are trying to prove that he was wrong. So that piqued his interest, that piqued Hardy's interest, and Hardy wanted to know more about the problem. So Hardy invited Weinberg after lunch to sit somewhere, and together they could do mathematics. He invited him. They sat over this problem. Weinberg knew everything about characters, about alleles, about genes. Hardy didn't. And Hardy knew everything about probability, about equations, which applies on genetics. And that's something that Weinberg didn't know. So together they came up with the equation that is called the Hardy-Weinberg equation. Till date, we study it as a textbook law in books. And this equation came into being just because Hardy could apply a constant in the algebraic equation. That's all. That's all. But this is something that Weinberg could not do. This is something that Weinberg could not do because he didn't have any mathematical prowess. And this is a problem that Hardy could not have understood because he didn't have any genetics, any knowledge of genetics. So this is a very fine example of multidisciplinary research. So these are perspectives that will from now onwards be found in our curriculum. And today our government is favoring them all, be it in any ranking framework. NIRF is one, be it in the National Research Foundation or the NETF or the Medical Commission. We've already spoken about the Wexner Medical School in the Ohio State University. Also in the NCTE, the National Council for Teacher Education, the skill development mission of the country. And for this, we have made the flexible curriculum by including more choice, by giving more choice to the students for selecting from a wide variety of baskets. And now we are increasing community engagement and student internships so that more and more experiential learning happens. And research and innovation, as we said, completely depends on multidisciplinarity. This leads to holistic development, and this might also lead to all our institutions being multidisciplinary universities. Now, if you are further interested in exploring the multidisciplinary interfaces for your students, then you can always see Jeevan Kaushal 2.0, which is a curriculum for life skills program. And this syllabus has been given by the UGC on the basis of these 4 aspects. That includes communication skills, professional skills, leadership and management skills, and universal human values. You can always have a look at this document and you can try to introduce some of these papers for your students. So thank you, participants. With that, I come to an end of my session. I have ended my presentation, but I'm still here. If you have any questions, any observations, any opinion that you want to share with me, please let me know. No one? Okay, then shall we end the session here?
Participants, do you have any questions? Please feel free to ask. Ankit sir?
Okay, I think Neelima ma'am, you can end the session now. We can sum it up.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. It has been truly an honor to listen to you, and we are really very, very grateful for you to spare your valuable time and share your wonderful expertise. I would say it was, very much overwhelming to listen to you, and I would look forward to more such session of yours to attend. So
Thank
thank you
you.
so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The pleasure was entirely
On
mine.
behalf of the complete MMTC community and Ramravati Institute of Technology, along with Sant Gadge Baba Amravati University and the coordinators, management, I would like to express my deep gratitude towards you. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Bye bye.